Major League Soccer will switch to a summer to spring format coming in 2027. They will include a winter break from mid-December to early February. And ahead of the change, there will be a shortened transition season that will take place to help get everything set for the new schedule, the new format. And finally, this move will align with international transfer windows and the FIFA calendar, perhaps the biggest and most important change of all. Don Garber, Major League Soccer commissioner, spoke on the reasons to make this move. Take a listen.
Overall, our owners are very committed to being one of the top leagues in the world, and being one of the few that isn't aligned with the international calendar has us almost have an American exceptionalism, saying that we're going to play the game the way we want to play it, as opposed to the way the rest of the world plays it. And we just believe, even with the impact, which could be disproportionate on one team over another, that the great partnership and alignment that our teams have with each other won the day.
An exciting time in Major League Soccer. And joining us now is FC Cincinnati CEO Geoff Berding to chat more on these changes that are coming. Geoff, thanks so much for taking the time this morning to hop on with us. I just want to get your perspective on why now was the right time for this kind of change.
Well, we're an ambitious league, and if Major League Soccer is going to be one of the best leagues in the world, we have to get on the right calendar, the same FIFA calendar as all the best clubs in the world, to be able to more fully participate in the global transfer market, where we can be more strategic about selling players and bringing players in just the way the top clubs in the world do. We want to win, and so we want to get the best players at the beginning of our season, not in the middle of the season, where frankly it's disruptive to the squad. And look, at the end of the day, we want the best players in the world competing in TQL Stadium. And if we're going to have the best players in the world coming into our stadium, we really do have to align with the FIFA calendar.
So tell us, what was the mood in the room? Is the group excited, cautiously optimistic? We'd love to know what that was like yesterday.
Well, it was very businesslike. To be fair, we've been working on this for over a year, so it's not as if this was something that was new. We've had many pods where small groups of teams have gotten together and had the conversation with the league staff, answered the questions. And this was really just a culmination of over a year-long process. And I give Nelson Rodriguez on Commissioner Garber's staff a lot of credit. He ran a very thorough process. Obviously, some of the clubs in colder weather environs, which Cincinnati would be in that group, have some concerns. But you know, as we see it, we're very hopeful to play a game in December this year. We did 2 years ago. So we want to play in December. That means you've had a great season. We start the game at the end of February with Champions Cup. So for us and our fans, it's not a terribly dissimilar schedule, unfamiliar schedule, where sometimes you play in some cold weather games, and we think this time being able to have our playoffs in the warmer environment, the warmer climate of May, uninterrupted by FIFA breaks, really gives us a chance to have great momentum in our postseason. And when you think about North American sports and you think of the Stanley Cup, the World Series, the NFL playoffs, that's really a heightened time for you to build momentum among fans culturally throughout the country. And our postseason currently is so disrupted that it's hard to build that momentum. We had a wonderful match the other night against the Columbus Crew. Game 3, we win 2-1. I'd love to do that in May, where a lot more people are watching and pay attention, because there's real momentum in the postseason. So I think people are pretty excited. People are excited in the room that this is the right time to make this decision for the future of Major League Soccer.
Geoff, as an outsider, as a Brit, it seems to me like a really positive move, a sensible move as well. But you alluded to it there, you know, you're hoping to play a game in December. I think I saw a figure yesterday that 90% of the fixtures will be played when you currently play them. So if I said to you specifically, what is the difference that the new calendar is, other than aligning with the international breaks, which is probably the biggest positive, what's going to be the biggest change of the fixtures?
Well, probably the biggest change will be we will have a winter break. So we'll play games into mid-December, and then we'll take a break and pick back up at the beginning of February. So there will be approximately a 5 to 6 week break. And you could offer that that's a challenge to the North American sports experience, where we don't really have anything like that. But it's pragmatic, of course, given the weather in North America, and it gives us a chance to sort of pick back up as it gets the winter schedule breaks a little bit. So that's a positive. To be fair, when you think about player health, playing in Dallas or Miami in August, July and August, those are also pretty tough weather conditions for the players. So you get a little bit away from the hottest period in the summer in some of the warm climates. The opportunity it also will give to all of us stadium owners is we now will have June and July to schedule, whether it's concerts or lacrosse or other kinds of events. And then also we can more fully participate in the preseason, where many European, many British clubs, of course, come over to the U.S. and are looking to play some friendlies. It's hard to do that when you're in the middle of the Major League Soccer season. We look forward to getting back to that. We had a classic match back in our first year of FC Cincinnati, where we hosted Crystal Palace in front of 35,000 people. It was an iconic moment in our club's history, and we'd like to get back to hosting the English Premier League teams in Cincinnati.
Now, Geoff, it feels like there's been a big misalignment between Europe and MLS with regards to the transfer window specifically. How much did that factor into the decision to change to this schedule?
Well, it's an extraordinary reason to do it. Right now, you want to. FC Cincinnati, we want to win. We want to bring in the best players at the beginning of the season. But when we're trying to bring in these best players, it's in the middle of a European team's season, and so you pay a premium or find it very difficult to get those teams to want to sell their players at that time. For us in January on the current schedule. And then many teams come asking about our players in the summer window, but we're trying to win trophies. We don't want to sell our best players in the middle of the season, no different than they do. And so there is a misalignment where, frankly, we miss opportunities to sell players. We FC Cincinnati have missed opportunities to sell players where offers have come in. And that's a very difficult case where a player is maybe excited to go to Europe, but we're committed to win trophies. So this new alignment with the FIFA calendar and the European transfer market, the global transfer market, really will help us be better participants, allow us to be more strategic on both inbound and outbound transfers. And as you know, at the end day, the transfer market is a big part of the economics, the financials of global football, and this allows us to more fully participate.
Geoff, Commissioner Don Garber said that there's going to be a lot of work over these next 18 months at both the league and club level. From the club perspective, what does some of that work look like for all of you at FC Cincinnati?
Well, just from a business side, pragmatically, we're going to have the short season to begin 2027 from January to May, and then we'll start the new calendar in August, going through May of 28. Think about all of our sponsor agreements, which we'll have to amend. There will be just getting the season ticket holders on the right schedule and explaining that for the sake of this discussion, in 27, they won't pay any more money, but they'll pay some of their season ticket expenses for that partial season. And then for the rest of what would be the half season, the rest of that year is we move on to then the global calendar. So there are some business things that we'll have to take care of. From a stadium perspective, we're always doing CapEx improvements. So when people talk about you have to winterize your stadium, we're going to put heat under the grass which will just something we could have done on the front end when we built the stadium. We did not. So there's some very practical things that we will do. Also, of course, educating the fans. I sent a letter to all the season ticket holders last night from me just talking to the business of the league meeting. So that process will continue as well.
And one thing, Aly, that we didn't necessarily get into is that this is still going to have to be approved by the MLS Players Association. So from the former players' perspective, you're looking at this calendar, you're looking at the proposed changes. How would you feel about it if, let's say, the NWSL were to have adopted something like this?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear something from the MLSPA. We haven't really seen any comments by current players yet, so interested to hear their perspective. But as a former player, that's very weird to say, I would have loved this.
Yeah.
Just thinking of this past season with Angel City when the Alyssa Thompson bombshell transfer occurred, and so many people were confused as to why she was leaving mid-season. It was, yes, in the middle of our NWSL season, but she wanted to go and start the WSL season for Chelsea. So that just being off kilter with those two schedules, I think that will be really, really good for the MLS. And I also think about, I would have loved to have a preseason game against a European, a top club, where we are in the same part of our seasons. Right now, NWSL clubs are mid-season, in that break, want to play a European club. They're in their preseason after whoever loses always says, oh, well, we're mid-season or we're in preseason. So I would have loved a chance to play maybe one of my former club teams when we're at the same part of our season.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun. And that was hearing Berding, Geoff Shreeves, talk about that was really fascinating amongst a number of other points he made. What stood out to you about his comments and just your perspective on this coming from the British side of things?
Well, to be completely honest, most club administrators are quite boring people, and they spout a party line. What I liked about Geoff there was he seemed genuinely excited, really enthused, and it wasn't just a sales pitch. You may call me cynical, it's up to you. But that's what I was prepared for. But I just thought it was genuine. I just really thought it was a mixture of excitement, relief. We're falling in line with the rest of the football calendar. We can do more business. And he wasn't talking about necessarily buying players. He was talking about selling players as well. It's as though they've been fighting with one arm tied behind their back. And that's what came across to me. And I'm also encouraged to hear Aly say, from a player's point of view, your instant reaction, love that. That would be fantastic. There wasn't an immediate pushback of, it's going to be the overload is too much, etc. So, no, I think it's a really, really positive, encouraging and exciting move for the MLS.